Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Kiss my... Happy Hanukkah.
For a couple of hours out of the whole year, we are the people that we always hoped we would be.
When you look at that, isn't that glorious? It's indescribably beautiful.
Oh, Christmas tree, 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 oh, Christmas tree.
Careful the icy patch!
'Tis the season to be merry.
Well, that's my name.
You're listening to the 30-something movie podcast. Classic movies, 30 years in the making.
I mean, why not be?
Ode to Joy really isn't a Christmas tune.
No, it's not.
I love Ode to Joy.
But it kind of is now.
It kind of is not.
You guys are young kids and girls. Annabelle's Wish. Look up that one. It's an animated one. It's a really
Christmas movie?
Annabelle's Wish.
I thought Annabelle was like The Conjuring. I thought that was that horror movie. Wasn't that like Annabelle Creation?
Yeah, I know.
It's not that. Like, you're not sending me to a movie that's
Hey,
terrifying.
Bo's joining us this week. Hey,
Bo.
Hey guys,
Hey.
welcome to the party, pal.
I like to make an entrance.
Favorite Christmas story?
No.
Yeah, 15 seconds.
Way to go.
Die Hard, my favorite Christmas story.
There,
The wax on and the wax off.
We'll get there. Yeah, that was my favorite part of Die Hard. Was all
That's
the
that
waxing
one.
in the elevator
Annabelle's
shaft. Okay.
Oh, God,
Your daughter will love it.
This is Christmas.
Especially if you have a daughter, they will love it.
Yeah.
I know
Your
what.
kids will love it. Annabelle's Wish.
You know what? I wonder if
It's
we
a
watch it
good
with my
one.
nieces. That would make sense.
It's a
It
good
looks
one.
oddly familiar.
Yeah, it's really good. It takes place on a farm and all. It's really good.
And it definitely doesn't seem like
That's usually what my family says about me.
You take place on a
Oddly
farm?
familiar.
You belong on a farm.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where I was going with that either.
Right. So I never know what's going to happen. It's like that scene in Superman when Lex Luthor's like, you know what my father said to me when I was 9 years old? Get out? No, after that. All right, so this is episode number 219. This is our last 1988 movie.
Out
here.
with a bang.
Out with a giant bang.
Woo!
Yippee-ki-yay.
So, if we are able to, then we will do an Aquaman episode next time, but we'll just have to see. But this is our official last movie of 1988 that we are covering this year. So, I feel like it's been a pretty good year. Before we get into talking, this is 219, episode 219, Die Hard is this episode. I have with me Bo.
Yo.
Jeff.
Hi.
Pat.
Hey.
Dennis.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys. That was underwhelming. And John, your host. And I think this is, other than our last one 2 weeks ago that we did for Scrooged,
Yeah.
this is the first time in a while that we've all been together.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
Good time.
Pretty good. All right. So very, very quickly, we do spoil the movies we talk about. So if you don't want to be spoiled, go watch it.
Or about other things about Christmas. You don't
Other
want to
things
be
about
spoiled
Christmas
about.
that you don't want to have little children
Bring
here.
them to me
Maybe if
young
they're
and
listening to a
unspoiled.
podcast in the
It's the
car.
big population
that
that's tuning into this.
Well, some people do. Some people do.
Some people have kids in the car.
Right. They listen with their kids. And now you've ruined everything for their children.
They don't even want to celebrate anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll be givers now.
Will they?
Uh-huh. And then if you haven't lately, leave us a review on iTunes and feel free to visit our website if you want to find out more about our show, 30podcast.com. So very, very quickly, I don't have anything new movie news-wise right now, but I did want to ask I know you guys love it when I ask hypothetical questions, so I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to say, since this is our last 88 movie, what is your favorite movie of 1988?
This.
That was easy.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have to be one we've done for the podcast?
It does not have to be one we've done for the podcast. I'll follow that up with, why didn't you suggest it if we didn't do it?
Okay.
In a nice way, not like a belligerent, you're an idiot kind of thing, but...
Well, and I gotta be honest, I'm thinking...
Pat's just stuck on Die Hard, so... The next 2 months, Pat's just switching back and forth, but Die Hard, Die Hard, Die Hard, Batman, Batman, Batman!
My favorite movie in 1988. This was a good year.
Killer Clowns.
Beetlejuice.
We did not do that one.
Coming to America.
Yeah.
Definitely Tapeheads.
Coming to America.
That one was your favorite?
Could be on the list. Die
Big.
Hard should be on the list.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Done.
I figured that was going to be yours, yeah.
That's it.
I figured that
Although
was yours.
Totoro is up there as well. But
Yeah.
The real question is, how do you define favorite movie? Like, is it the movie you could watch no matter when it's on, or is it the movie that when you watch it, it just makes you giddy? Like, what's the,
Yes.
Mine qualified in both categories,
Right.
so yeah.
Die Hard.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to go Willow. Yeah.
Willow, you idiot.
Big is in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have to say, I loved Last Temptation of Christ.
I figured you were going to go for that one too.
But I mean, it's not one I'll watch all the time.
Pat really enjoyed Dead Ringers.
so much.
Oh yeah,
That was the twin gynecologist.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
was Pat's favorite.
outstanding.
Good Morning
Speaking
Vietnam
of finding a
during
pile of
that
poop
year.
in the corner.
Oh, good morning.
Yeah, Good Morning Vietnam
Yes.
in there too. It's a tough
Not
year.
as easy as it sounds, is it? There.
Yeah, maybe you need to think about these before you ask the questions.
Yeah, nice
I
job.
hate to say it. I don't remember discussing Good Morning
Vietnam is 87.
That's 87.
No, not according to this.
Well, then it's wrong.
Okay, well, it does say, yeah, that says 87.
Well, then it's wrong.
Well, I came up with the list with 1988 movies, and they said...
Or you
that's a
or
1987.
you could have used the link that I sent you earlier this afternoon that had a listing of some 1988 movies, but that's okay.
Let's pretend.
Wow, you're like passive aggressively bitter.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. You filthy animal.
Filthy animal.
Until 3 ghosts come your way.
Right. Yeah. Fine. Whatever. Bring them on.
California.
All right. Well, I'm going with Willow.
Fish called one out of that.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Did you say one, or were you still thinking?
I think I'll have to go with. I'm still thinking.
Okay. Follow-up question, if anybody's ready for a follow-up question. Favorite movie of 2018?
There's still a lot that I
New
want to
movie that you've
see,
seen.
though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hard part.
There's a lot that I haven't seen this year that I did want to see.
Favorite movie that I saw, like new movie this year?
Yeah.
That's actually easier. I think I might say Black Panther.
Okay.
That's
a good...
Yeah.
We're going to have to go with Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't see many movies this year.
Well, I mean,
'Cause
that's kind of a given.
There's a bunch of movies that are coming out soon
Mhm.
that could quite possibly
Could
take
do it,
the honor.
yeah.
But that's not the question. It's the
I'm
movies
hearing
that I've
good
seen.
things about Aquaman. Haven't seen it yet, but hearing good things.
I enjoyed Solo.
I was going to say Solo's in there too, yeah.
I thought it was a lot of fun. It's a good heist movie.
Yeah.
Christopher Robin,
I was going to say Christopher Robin.
Which we'll see probably this...
and I think that covers all the movies I've seen this year.
Okay.
Split was before that, right? Split was in 2018.
Split was
2016?
17?
16, 17.
Might have, yeah. 16 or
17,
17.
I think it was.
Was it?
somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got to either... Yeah, maybe Infinity War. Black Panther was really good, though.
Black Panther was.
Christopher Robin was heartwarming and amazing.
I think that Black Panther and Solo.
All right, between those three, maybe. Oh, and Solo. Well, never
I
mind.
like Solo, I thought.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we got them all covered. All right. Well, did you figure out an 88 one? I was trying to buy you some time there.
Yeah, and you did a good job. It just didn't really.
That's all right.
It just didn't really help.
If at any point in the episode you wanted to shout out your,
Well, I don't want to say
movie,
Die Hard because you already said Die Hard.
You could say it.
Probably the movie I would from this year that I enjoy the most.
Okay.
Is Die Hard.
Fantastic movie.
Fair
It
enough.
is. It's
Fair enough.
great.
And that's why we're here.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about that one. So we're here to talk about Die Hard very, very quickly before we jump into This Week in 88. We did have our friend at jcolvin24 on Twitter, Jason Colvin. He did respond on Twitter and said, for me, I just asked if anybody had any stuff they want to share about Die Hard. And he said, for me, Die Hard was one of 3 perfect movies from the 80s, along with Back to the Future and Raiders of the Lost Ark. It never gets old. By the way, definitely a Christmas movie, even if it was released in July. So, thank you, Jason.
He just sent that.
Yeah, he sent that this morning.
Which I agree
Yeah.
All right.
to all of that. That's cool.
This week in 88, so the week of December 19th to December 25th. What I got for This Week in 1988 is on December 19th, 1988, NASA unveiled plans for a lunar colony and manned missions to Mars. So clearly, 30 years later, we are on track to
Yeah,
do
those
that
lunar
at
colonies
some
and all
point.
those moon men are having a good time.
That was the elevator to the moon. Was that one of the things they were thinking about? Top song this week in 88 would have been Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison. Top book was The Sands of Time by Sidney Sheldon. And the top movie for the week ending December 26th was Twins. Pat's just like sitting here bouncing, like ready to go.
We're going to do favorite scenes? Favorite quotes?
We got to introduce the movie first.
Right. It's Die Hard. How awesome was it?
Favorite scenes.
Jeff, I'm not going to take over the podcast. How awesome was it?
Why don't you just host this one?
I don't want to host this one. It's
Go
too
for
much
it.
responsibility.
Had anyone not seen Die Hard? I'm curious.
Why don't we just watch the movie?
You just watch it. It'd be like a Mystery Science Theater 3000
Oh,
of Die Hard.
that would be too good.
That's awesome.
Yes!
Awesome. Guys, watch this. This is awesome.
Probably should say something different here.
No! Why change it up? More awesome. We're going to need to get some more FBI guys. But that's awesome.
But
Which when I hear that, I think of the Return of the Living Dead. Send more paramedics.
Oh, man.
All right. Die Hard came out on the 20th of July, 1988, rated R, with a runtime of 2 hours and 12 minutes. Directed by John McTiernan, who also did Predator, Hunt for Red October, and Die Hard with a Vengeance. Producer was Lawrence Gordon and Joel Silver. Gordon also produced Predator, Lockup, and Watchmen. Silver also produced The Warriors, Commando, and Roadhouse. Roderick Thorpe did the novel, Nothing Lasts Forever. He died in 1999. The other thing that he wrote that became a movie was The Detective, a novel that he wrote in 1966, and the movie came out in 1968. Quick little trivia bit that I shared with Jeff earlier today. Thorpe's novel, The Detective, which came out in 1968, starred Frank Sinatra. And because the follow-up novel, Nothing Lasts Forever, is a sequel to The Detective, then Die Hard at first was going to be a sequel to The Detective. So because contractually they had to offer the leading role to the same person who had played it in the original, they originally offered the role of John McClane to Frank Sinatra. And because Frank was like...
a minute.
This movie just got cooler. That's awesome.
Because Frank was like, 70 at the time or whatever he was in 1988, he did turn it down. But they originally, contractually, they had to offer him the role of John McClane. So they offered, and he, I'm sure, politely declined. But can you imagine Die Hard with Frank Sinatra as the lead role?
It's a different movie.
That moment of silence is the gears grinding to a halt in Pat's brain.
It's ring-a-ling-a-ding-dong for the bad guys. Oh, man, that would be awesome.
I just can't picture Frank hanging from the end of a fire hose crashing through glass. That's just...
You're not trying hard.
I just did.
All right.
Other writers for this one,
Frank Sinatra?
Jeb Stewart. Jeb Stewart did the screenplay, and Stephen E. D'Souza did the screenplay. Stewart also did Lockup and The Fugitive. D'Souza did Commando and The Running Man. Cinematography was done by Jan de Bont, who also did Cujo, Ruthless People, and Basic Instinct. Music was done by Michael Kamen, who did... Do you say Kamen or Kamen? I think we've said this like every time. I don't know. He died in 2003. He also did the music for Highlander, Lethal Weapon, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and X-Men. Budget for this one was $28 million. Box office was $140.8 million, so it made a little bit of money. Flick Metrics gives an average score of 84. That is a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 94% audience rating. IMDb users give it an 82, Letterboxd users give it an 83, and Metascore gives it a 70. So average together, 84 is the score from Flick Metrics. Starring Bruce Willis as John McClane. He was in the Die Hard series, and there is a new one that has been announced, just called McClane. Which, that's like the new thing for all the movies. Isn't the new Rambo movie just called like John Rambo?
Maybe.
This one's McClane, and instead of Wolverine, it's Logan, and it's, So, I don't know.
The essence of the person.
And then he was also in Moonlighting, the TV series, and I don't know if we're calling it the Unbreakable trilogy, but Unbreakable, Split, and Glass. That'll be coming out in January, I think is when that one's coming out.
Yeah.
Okay. Bonnie Bedelia was Holly Gennaro McClane. She was in Presumed Innocent and the TV series Parenthood.
She was great in Parenthood.
Was she? I never watched Parenthood.
Holy
you'd like it.
Okay.
That one pulled on the heartstrings.
Really? Was that the one that you were telling me is kind of like This Is Us?
Yeah.
No, that's A Million Little Things, which
Yes.
you have to see also, by the way.
Okay, all right. And more recently, she was in TV series Designated Survivor. Reginald Vell Johnson played Sergeant Al Powell. He's in Ghostbusters and Family Matters.
Paul Winslow.
Paul Gleason, who died in 2006, played Deputy Police Chief Dwayne T. Robinson. Don't mess with the bull or you get the horns. He was in The Breakfast Club and Van Wilder. William Atherton played Richard Thornburg. Ghostbusters and Real Genius. Hart Bochner I think I said that right, played Harry Ellis. He was in Supergirl and Breaking Away. James Shigeta he died in 2014. He played Joseph Yoshinobu Takagi. He was in Midway and Mulan. Alan Rickman, who died in 2016, a couple years ago now, played Hans Gruber. He was in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and Harry Potter, as well as Galaxy Quest. Alexander Godunov, he died in 1995. He played Carl. He was in Witness and The Money Pit. Devereaux White played Argyle. He was in The Blues Brothers and Trespass. I didn't realize he was in The Blues Brothers.
Was he in
that
The Blues
threw
Brothers?
my mind. He is the little kid that tries to steal the guitar from
Yeah, I can see it now. I can see it now.
Huh.
That's Argyle.
How do you like that?
So
Blam,
clearly,
blam, blam. Come on, kid.
he grew up, moved to California, got a job, so the life of crime did not follow him for the rest of his life. Robert Davi played FBI Special Agent Big Johnson. He was in The Goonies and License to Kill. And Grand L. Bush played FBI Special Agent Little Johnson. He was in License to Kill and Street Fighter. I'm not going to comment on any of the names.
No
relation. No. Here is the trailer, and we'll be back in just a moment.
It's Christmas Eve in L.A.
California.
Is Daddy coming home soon?
Well, we'll see what Santa and Mommy can do, okay?
And New York cop John McClane has come to see his wife.
I missed you.
Instead, he's going to have to save her.
Sit down.
Within this skyscraper high above the city, 12 terrorists have declared war.
They're about to be taught a lesson in the real use of power.
They're as brilliant
because I am interested in the $640 million in your vault.
As they are ruthless.
And I'm telling you, you're just going to have to kill me. Okay. We do it the hard way.
Now, the last thing McClane wants.
Think, damn it, think.
Is to be a hero.
Where's Howie? Hey, Tucker! Where?
But he doesn't have a choice.
What does he think he's doing?
Job.
They have already killed one hostage.
This channel is reserved for emergency calls only.
Lady, do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
He's inside? Who is he? Who are you then? You are most troublesome for a security guard.
Sorry, wrong guess, huh? Would you like to go for double jeopardy?
Do you really think you have a chance against our sadistic cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, mother. You just destroyed a building. I am in charge of this situation. Well, I got some bad news for you. Come up here, then look like you're in charge of Jack. He is alone, he is tired, and he hasn't seen dipping squat from anybody down here.
Hey, pal, how you feeling?
All things being equal, I'd rather be in Philadelphia. I want blood.
And you have it.
Only John can drive somebody that crazy.
He's an easy guy to like.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
And a hard man to kill. Bruce Willis. Die Hard.
Got invited to the Christmas party by mistake. Who knew?
Who wants to see people blow stuff up? Die Hard, now in theaters.
In a world.
In a world where Germans are trying to take over.
This
Die
guy
Hard.
thinks it's awesome.
Yeah!
Yeah, it is!
But they're not trying to take over. It's just a heist. I mean, that's the best part.
Mm-hmm.
When the vault opens up.
That's in time to kidnap me. Show me some more respect.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we've already asked this question earlier. Everybody's seen Die Hard, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, we can skip that one.
Twice
I've seen it twice in like the last 10 minutes. I'm just running it simultaneously on the earbuds I've got in. I'm like,
It's a loop and
playing it. We're doing it in the round.
I've
That
never not.
explains so much.
So, okay, can we just put out there, it's awesome.
Yes.
But what a risk it was because you have a movie with two male leads that no one ever has really done much.
Yeah.
Especially in movies, because Bruce Willis, his big thing was moonlighting.
Yeah.
And Alan Rickman, his big thing was he was a stage actor in
But
England.
Moonlighting was a pretty big hit, so I think.
Well,
you
yeah, I
go over
mean,
the budget
Bruce got
from
$5
there to
million
there,
for this thing.
But that would be like
Your move from TV to movies.
Yeah, but it's also a big it's a
But-
risk.
but
It's
his
a
char-
risk,
his
but it's
character on
also going
Moonlighting-
to draw
His
attention.
character on Moonlighting does not lend
Match up
itself
to
to.
that.
I'm trying to think of
John
like
McClane.
that
So
would
that's
be
a pretty hard sell.
Yeah, and that would be like look. I'm trying to think now, like what would a character be like? Suddenly see this person in an action role.
Well, it
'Cause
can fail, like the guy from.
You think like The Office, John Krasinski?
No.
Yeah, 'cause he was-
because he's in The Office, and now he's been in
And now
like
he's
A
there.
Quiet Place, and he's been Jack
Jack
Ryan.
Ryan. He was
show.
also in that one that the
Talking
guy
about
that
the
did Pearl
red-haired
Harbor did
actor.
about the Benghazi thing. I'm not saying it was necessarily a good movie, but he was like,
He was. You're right.
he was.
I'm saying I think the risk
Okay.
is like who's the red-haired actor guy from the police show that went years back, but like early '90s or something.
Caruso?
Oh, Caruso?
David
Yeah.
Caruso, and he went to, and it didn't work. His
Right.
career was nothing. Movie career wasn't the same.
Yeah.
But there was that buzz of, oh, here's this new movie, and it just flopped.
Yeah,
So I think you're going to get some of that buzz, which is nice. So it's a risk.
Yeah, but I think it
But
was
it's,
still a big
hey,
risk
yeah.
because there aren't any really big names. For
No.
1988, there are no
Reginald
big names.
Van, oh,
Reginald
Phil
Van Johnson. Carl Winslow.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, kudos to them for sticking with it and doing what they did because it's a fantastic movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But
Well,
I always appreciate how much of a risk it was
Mm-hmm.
to cast it the way they did. But I don't know what you could do differently.
Well, and there were a lot of names that
Sam
were up
Neill
for.
was up for Hans Gruber.
Yeah, like there were a lot of names, and I
That
just
was
for
it-
one reason or
Was
another.
it De Niro? Hold on. I gotta look it up now.
De Niro.
Was it De Niro? I thought it was De Niro, yeah.
Heck, Frank Sinatra was up originally.
Yeah.
Apparently,
yeah.
yeah.
And I
But
mean,
yeah, Schwarzenegger was in it at one point. Like they because originally the thought was it was going to be a sequel to Commando.
yeah.
Like one of the original thoughts was it was a sequel to the movie The Detective from the '60s. But then another thought was, well, then we'll make this a sequel to Commando. And Schwarzenegger is like, no, I want to do. Actually, he was like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to do comedy. So he was off doing Twins instead of doing that. So I mean, it sounds like they offered it to a lot of different people. Your typical, 80s male role. I think they offered it to like Tom Selleck and Harrison Ford, and pick somebody who's probably been in one of the Expendables movies, and that's probably who they offered it to before it got to Bruce Willis. What's that?
Those movies are so good. They're so much fun.
Yeah, I think I've ever seen the first one. I don't think I've seen the other ones.
Just watch them.
I'll have to go watch them at some point.
It's
Yeah.
very good.
I'll find a good week. I'll find a weekend.
It's a pet movie. If ever there
What was the
a pet
line
movie.
if a grenade mated with a gunpowder that the movie would be the result or something? That was it was one of the bylines, but
Yeah.
well, and I say this, but I think they kind of broke the mold when they came up with this movie because I mean the sequels were good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and they're still coming and all that kind of stuff, but it's. I don't know, this movie, like all the little ins and outs of the movie, that it took place in one night, that it was, it had the comedy piece that he's stuck in a building. That I mean, is he hunting them or are they hunting him? Or I don't know. It seems, sure, it's an action movie, but it just kind of seems unique. Arnold Schwarzenegger movies kind of seem to follow a pattern,
Well,
not to diss them, but
I feel like in the 90s and the 2000s, you'd have people say, well, this action movie, like not Die Hard, but people would say like, well, this movie is like Die Hard on a train or Die Hard in a skyscraper, or it wasn't a skyscraper, but yeah, Die Hard on a bus was Speed. People kept saying Speed was Die Hard on a bus. So you kind of had like, this was the movie. And I'm trying to think if there's another movie before this one where you really had like
It set a
the
tone.
one guy against the team of villains that has to use his wits to get out the other side of this situation. And it may have been really kind of like the first of its kind in terms of this formula of movie, which then, afterwards, then you get like the, you get the same kind of formula. What were we talking about?
Well, Under Siege.
Under Siege, yeah.
Yeah. All the Steven Seagals from that time period.
It's funny. I mean, just side note. Whenever you guys say Die Hard, I automatically think of the band director. Sorry.
influence this man, these
It's
guys,
like, It's like they feel like this.
For those who don't know, we should like put that. Do you still have it on YouTube or something like
Yeah,
that?
it's
Okay, all right. We'll put the link up on our Twitter. But, we made a Die Hard-esque movie, Die Hard in a School, is what we make.
Yeah, because you were saying like in different places. Right, there's also the one in Middle North.
And
but it
Pat,
wasn't a real movie.
Pat was our very own band director. So it's
A little bit looks like Bruce Willis.
a little bit. You got the Bruce. You got the haircut.
Yeah, I got the haircut. And then
going on.
Yeah.
do a few more push-ups, maybe.
Yeah,
you know.
it's all right.
Just get yourself a good gun and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I should have made Dr. Moto more German, and then it would have been would have fit with the Hans Gruber thing.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Oh gosh, when they drop him off the roof and he's just sitting there, just like, yeah. Oh man, it's all slow. Oh,
should have done a shot like that with you. That would have been good.
With a green screen, like falling off the roof. And
oh gosh.
Gee, I hope that's not one of the hostages.
Yeah,
that's right. Gee, that's right. That's right. Oh,
that guy kills me. I think I better call the mayor.
All right, so question for you, because I read this, I think it might have been one of the writers of the movie, said that the protagonist of the movie is not Bruce Willis. The protagonist of the movie is Hans Gruber. How do you feel about that? Does that change the movie for you at all if the writer tells you that the protagonist is Hans Gruber?
It's all from a certain point of view, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm
Or you
very
don't
hard
see
time
it?
reconciling that.
Okay.
Now,
Did they give a reason
but
why
who's-
they felt that way?
Who said that?
It's one of the
What's
writers.
explanation?
Yeah,
one of the writers. I'll see if I can find it.
From
I
the
need some
original
more
writing,
info.
maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know they made a lot of changes on set, so I wonder if the original writing had it, but afterwards, it certainly doesn't play that way.
Yeah, I want to know what the
I'll see if we can-
criteria is
I'll see if we can track it down.
for saying that.
Because I know, like, one of the odd notes I know I read was the original script, it took place over 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think.
Well, I think the novel took place over 3 days.
How does a hostage situation take place
I
over
never
3
read the book.
days and not like...
I never read the book.
Well,
Have you ever read the book?
All I'm gonna say is though.
Let's start
how
a
many
30-something
times-
book club.
How many
Right.
times
Right. Let's try that.
have we talked
Then
about?
we're going to get together and talk about those too, you know.
We
do
talked
that.
about. Well,
Fine.
you're talking about Black Panther, and your point of Black Panther was, man, Black Panther is awesome. Why? Because the bad guy was interesting. He had depth to him. There was a story.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think like you look at this.
You know the beauty
He's
of
interesting. I don't know if I'd call him a protagonist, though.
the beauty of Hans Gruber is
I
he
agree
was
with you,
interesting, but he, while still just being a guy who's out for money, like the character proves that you can write someone who, while all he's there is to rip the guys off. I mean, he doesn't have any deep.
Right.
There's not any deep motivation with this guy.
I read about them in Time magazine.
Right? Like, he's out here just to get money, but he still had a depth of a character, even if not depth of purpose. Like, you know.
Yeah.
These guys are well
When he's
funded,
reading-
i.e., they want something. You're amazing. You figured this out yourself.
You figured this all out yourself.
I must have missed 60 minutes. What are you talking about?
When he's reading off the list of people he wants to take out of jail, like,
Asian Dawn.
The Asian.
Yeah.
No, he's not smiling when he says it, but he's smirking because he's just, I don't know, pick something off.
Somebody asked me a few weeks ago, they're like, do you remember that one Asian restaurant we went to, that one Chinese restaurant we went to one time? And I started listing off stuff, and then finally they were like, no. And I was like, Asian Dawn? No, I don't think we ever went to that one. It's like,
No, we
I
didn't.
don't think you did.
John's still alive. How do you know? Because only he could get someone that pissed off.
That is one of the best lines of the movie when she just
Drive someone that insane.
Yeah, drive someone that insane. I think.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
She just
Get
goes,
the exact one.
he's still alive.
He's only
John. Only John.
He's running the thing highways.
So there have been a couple of, I couldn't find the one that talks about Hans Gruber being the protagonist, but a couple of different articles online have argued that Hans Gruber is the greatest action movie villain of all time. True?
Case made. Yeah.
This is not the 5 questions round. You can take more than 30 seconds to
What's
answer
the
your
difference from the
questions.
Christmas stuff? I got nothing.
Well, this is crazy. I tell you.
And we'll get to that. Don't worry about it. Greatest action movie villain of all time?
Okay.
There's other movies?
I mean, he's certainly, you can make the case for it. God, of all time, that's a...
Well, whenever you get into those talk, those conversations.
That's hard.
In recent movie history, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But at all time,
Well, let's get some of the movies out there. Like, let's throw out some that that would come close. Not as what would you? But you say recent movies, but what would be some
Greatest villains of all time?
Some action was
Probably some couple versions of Dracula that should be on that list.
well, let's see what the AFI came up with.
The guy that did Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves as the Sheriff of Nottingham, that guy was awesome.
That would also be Alan Rickman.
But why a
You're doing that on
spoon,
purpose.
cousin?
It'll hurt.
It's dull, you twit. It'll hurt more.
Any of the Indiana Jones villains?
Voldemort.
They're kind of like more as
Greatest villain of all time, though. I mean, you
Yeah.
gotta be like.
just more like Nazis in general.
Yeah.
I mean, they like
Nazis.
Yeah,
I hate
those guys.
Illinois
I hate
Nazis.
Illinois.
So according to the AFI's top 50 heroes, top 50 villains, the number one villain on their list is Dr. Lecter.
Oh, good one.
Okay.
But that said greatest action.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean,
True. So there's a qualifier.
Does Khan fall in there?
Oh well, yeah.
Talk about a villain with depth.
Yeah, there's
I
another
mean-
good one. Yeah, Khan is fantastic.
And the depth is just in his pectorals. But the character, yes, that too.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
It's
Khan.
true.
Man, there are not a lot of action movies on this list.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, because to be a good villain, you gotta have time to mess with your head, and the action villain doesn't give you a lot of time for that. I think is part of the problem.
Okay. I know this is gonna be a really tough one, and Pat, this may take you longer than like 2 seconds to answer the question. Do you have a favorite scene?
Apart from the opening credits and the closing
Everything
credits.
for the. What was that one scene that took 2 hours and 12 minutes to show?
You know what strikes me
it was
about
the longest
this
scene in the whole movie. It was.
is that when they put Die Hard, the name of the movie up,
Mhm.
there's like no music, no mysteriousness. And
It's at an airport.
and
Right now,
all I
London.
could think about was it starts quietly. It always starts quietly, and I'm sitting there like, I don't know why this is getting me more excited, but it does because things start quietly, and then they suddenly come in with the slow of the Ode to Joy from the
Mhm.
Ninth Symphony, and they're playing it mysteriously as the truck. What I never noticed is that's what the string quartet was playing in the party.
Mhm.
It's going back and forth between. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh wow, this is really exciting.
It's really big in California. I just picture Pat at home when everybody else is asleep, just like rocking back and forth. It starts quietly.
That's what I'm thinking.
It starts
Oh,
quietly.
man, how about send in the car? Send in the car, and then they shoot him with the bazooka. You know, he's got the bazooka.
The missile launcher.
Yeah, and then he's just like, let him pull back. No, so he just grabs all that explosive. And, grabs the computer, just drops it down the elevator shaft, and half the building incinerates. Oh my God, that's great.
I get the feeling that if we all bought Pat a DVD copy of Die Hard
I got it.
Christmas, I know. He has his own, but if we bought him one, every time he unwrapped it, he would be equally excited.
Yeah, he would.
I would agree.
Like,
The excitement would
And
never
if you
be like,
and if you open it up and you
I got another one.
and you took the individual
It's like,
DVDs
yeah,
out,
this stack
like
of
the
20.
special
And
features
I'll open a new
DVD
one.
was separate,
It's like the little kid that gets the duplicate Christmas present. Oh, just what I've always wanted. Opens the second one. Oh, just what I've always
But
wanted.
those kids are faking it.
Right.
This
That
would
would
be
be
genuine.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, guys! I got another copy.
Oh
If you throw a
man.
VHS in there, he'd be equally excited.
Retro. Whoa. Oh man.
Now I just
I've
have
never
to buy
seen a
4 more
VHS before.
TVs. Pat's command center is just 5 TVs watching different scenes of Die Hard.
Goes back to his room.
You know-
There's like 18 stacks of DVDs of Die Hard.
Don't touch him.
This movie made me triple dip. Because I had the full VHS collection,
Yeah.
and then I had the full DVD collection,
Okay.
and then I have the full Blu-ray collection.
Yeah.
I bought this movie multiple times.
That's outstanding.
That's kind of why it hit the top of my list, because it's one of the few I've done that
Yeah,
too. Also,
like the other thing about I've spent more money on this movie. No, not that it's bad. I mean,
Another movie that I've done that with is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
I own that on multiple formats.
For me, it's High School Musical.
Yikes.
I
apologize.
It doesn't surprise me.
For the record, don't edit that part out where I'm correct.
No.
Blue Velvet. So what were you guys' favorite scenes?
Jesus, so many great scenes.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's the easy one because, hello.
I like the commentary that he makes to himself all the time.
Hey, come out to the coast, have a few laughs.
I mean, he has great delivery of those lines, which you need because you can't have a character on their own not audibly expressing something. It's not going to work. They have to be able to communicate to the audience in some way. So I think the fact he has just a lot of these throwaway lines that
an external monologue.
Which fits well with his comedy background from Moonlighting, so that he can bring that to the character.
Like when he's just sitting there and you see him, he's making the fist with his toes on the carpet, and the camera pans up. He's like, "Son of a bitch."
Yeah, I know.
It works.
I have a machine gun. Oh.
Yeah,
that was good.
I was listening to somebody else on another podcast, and they were talking about going to an ugly Christmas sweater party, and they wore an ugly Christmas sweater that said, it was just a gray one that said, "Ho, ho, ho, now I have a machine gun." But they did it like a few days after a mass shooting.
Oh.
And they hadn't thought about it. They were just so excited. They're like, I finally get to wear my sweater. And they brought it to their work Christmas party.
Oh, Christ.
And it was
At a high school?
No, it was never high school.
Yeah,
I thought of wearing one, today.
Way to bring it
Anthony
down,
walked
man.
in and like 2 days after it happened, and he walks in and like the first person that sees him is like, you might want to go change that. He's like, why? It's awesome. They're like, what just happened like 2 days ago? He's like, oh yeah, okay.
Right before he does that, and this is the first time I caught it in the movie, right before he sends the elevator down after writing on the guy's shirt, you see him turn and look at something off camera, and he starts smiling to himself like he's just formulated this idea. I never picked up on that look before until I watched it yesterday. And I was like, oh, well done.
I like the elevator sounds. Whenever the elevator hits the floor, there's that real distinctive elevator sound, and by the end, you hear that dunk, and then the doors explode. There's something explodes after hearing that elevator sound all the way throughout.
The vent scene. The vent. The vent.
So which one?
Stick out. Well, I mean,
when Carl is underneath, poking at the
bloody with the glass, the feet, the bare feet.
I have the
shoot the glass.
I have trouble watching the elevator shaft scene. It's like anything with heights. I'm not
really.
Yeah.
So I read that the stunt.
So him hanging
up on
off the edge, hanging on a fire hose, that doesn't do it for you, but the elevator shaft does?
Well, because the elevator shaft, he's got the gun is jammed in there, and I feel like it's a little more precarious than the hose.
He's hanging from a fire hose that's not attached to anything. Does it get more precarious than that?
Hanging from a gun that's going to break at any moment. I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Check out the Free Solo trailer.
I'm thinking they're both equally as...
Nope. I watched it. I don't want to watch it
Not
again.
gonna do that.
That looks cool.
That was like
I can watch people do
that. Was like when people
I can't
tried
do
to
it myself.
when people tried to encourage me to go see the movie Gravity.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see that.
really?
Can't do it.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
I have an irrational fear that I'm going to float off into space somewhere.
Well, good thing you have.
Don't worry, you got to get there first.
You have a strong gravitational pull.
I do.
This
But,
planet.
thankfully, I'm never going to make it in the astronaut program.
Another scene. I'm just a big fan of the original. His character getting the shot at him.
Yeah.
I just like that where he.
When she
saves
cold
him.
cocks Thornburg, that's good too.
That's good.
Yeah.
But for some reason, because of the play between those two characters and the copy, I like that. Like
What?
At the end where he shoots.
Where is it? Carl comes back out.
He comes back out.
Okay, yeah.
And he's there to.
Well, because you get that backstory of
redemption.
I've never been able to pull my gun again.
Exactly, and that's why I think.
But do you
I've always
do you see him
liked
like
that
he pops the button on the holster?
Yeah.
Like if you look down at the bottom of the screen, you see his hand just pop the button, getting ready to grab the gun. Like that instinct just takes over for him. It's fantastic.
Because it totally could have ended a different way. You could have ended it where John McClane has grabbed Al's gun and used it.
Yeah.
And if they shot that, it wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
Because that totally would have been.
But I think it.
It's so much better this way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So much better.
Yes.
I must have missed 60 minutes. What are you saying?
Well, and apparently there's a scene cut out.
The special features if you've never watched like the
I've never
commentary and all the special features on the DVD, fantastic. McTiernan does the commentary with a few other people in and out. But
Is that where I didn't listen to the commentary? But this I was reading somewhere, and I think they might have mentioned it in one of the commentaries that they cut out a scene where McClane realizes that all the terrorists are wearing the same watch.
Yeah,
and
that part always confused me.
And that's how he figures out that Gruber is
one of the terrorists.
Is one of the terrorists. Is that he happens to look and sees that he's got the same watch on as the rest of them, and yeah.
There's that one. There's another scene they cut. Oh god, it's been a while since I've watched the special features. There's another scene that gets cut, something to do with the vault that helps another. There's another little thing like that too. It's that whole scene with Hans always was like, when does he know? Obviously before he gives him the gun, but when and the watch thing helps a lot. Because otherwise,
I wish that would have been left in there because that was the one scene that I was like, how do you figure that out?
Well, you know what's even weirder? If you read the stuff on IMDb, that scene...
That was an add-in.
It was an add-in, which is weird because without that scene, how does the moment where he picks up the picture of the family mean anything?
Right, it wouldn't. Because unless he knows what John McClane looks like, he doesn't know that... Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Because how can he connect? How is he making that connection to everything without that other scene? That's the part that bugs me.
Well, that other scene may have been an add-in.
That's true. It could have been. They could have reshot that part.
Or you never know what order they're actually shooting the movie.
Because I thought about that when I read that, and I'm watching the movie, and I'm going, but he's going to pick up that picture.
Yeah.
Which is odd.
Don't try to apply logic to an action movie.
Oh, fair enough.
All right. Well, do we have anything? I mean, other than Pat yelling, "It's awesome!" a few more times. Do we have any?
As well, he should. It is a very fun movie. I'm trying to remember how old I was when I first saw this thing.
I haven't seen it.
Maybe junior high.
Maybe this year.
I think I was probably junior high.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would love to watch this movie with someone who's never seen it.
Yeah, like can we all come over and watch it?
Like
when they watch.
Because
party
at
Dennis's house.
Right, because it's one of those things. Like it's so rare to meet someone who hasn't seen it. I'd love to see this movie through a new eye in 2018 because I think it holds up pretty good compared to some of the movies we've watched.
Sharon had not seen it before.
Really,
and so she watched it with me, and it might have been a little bit more than she was ready for at the time.
Really?
Yeah. In which way?
She didn't hate it. She didn't dislike it. I mean, we like Bruce Willis movies, so she was okay with that. But I think it might have just been a little bit more gunshotty than what she was looking for. She wasn't quite in the mood for that much.
This is not
violence and explosion.
This is not the first time I think I've said this for a movie that we've watched. I actually saw the second one first.
Okay.
Just because of it. It was an age thing. I was older when the second one came out, so I was able to see it. You know? So I saw the second one first, and for a long time I hadn't seen the first one for no conscious decision anyone made. It just sort of happened.
I don't think it would ruin anything.
It didn't ruin anything, but I will say, going back to the first one is more shooty.
Yeah.
The second one was definitely we can make a little more money if we make this PG-13. And they totally did. It's more of a family movie the second time around. The comedy is definitely tilted towards Bruce Willis's thing a little bit, but that's interesting.
That's why I think it was, one of those, you say when you get your kids and how old, and when do you show them movies, and, that's always the hard part. So this one's been kind of always shelved, but I picked it up numerous times. I'm like, from what I remember, and you put it back on the shelf and go next year. And next year, this year could be the year, so.
Is it more the violence or more the language or just the whole thing?
I think the whole thing, and it was not necessarily one more than maybe the violence more overall. I kept thinking that I do remember that first one being pretty violent.
It's violent.
But then I'm like, I've seen Walking Dead stuff now, so it's like where do you, but this is it's zombies and there's people.
I remember being affected by watching this movie the first time. This was from the first time I'd seen a movie where somebody got shot and you could see like pieces of their flesh come flying off. And I remember watching this going, oh my God, that's awful.
And I think the other part that oftentimes I pick this up is, like you said, it's been around. You think of the sweater story that he told. It's like there always seems to be something going on where there was a shooting in Europe or a shooting in here or a shooting there, and you don't want to like have, and you always think already that your kids, might already be enough of a little bit of worry about, are we going to go out to a mall and this is going to happen, or are we going to go out and this is going to happen?
Right.
So it's like watching the movie at those various times makes you a little bit hesitant to just say, do I need to throw more violence in their face when there's the real stuff? This might be scarier for them because back then when we saw that, you just didn't have, at least we didn't know about it.
The word terrorist.
The word terrorist meant
somebody bombed a plane in Libya.
And you didn't see whether it was probably still maybe around. It wasn't as out there. There was no internet. It wasn't publicized, so you weren't aware of everything.
We certainly weren't afraid of it happening here.
So it could be a little bit more traumatic and scary and make them a little bit more nervous or scared of the world by watching a movie like this, even though it's a movie. But.
And it's escapist too.
Yeah.
You don't see the after effect. You don't see the fallout. You don't. I mean, some guy's getting his like completely beat up, and he just gets to go with the girl. He gets off with the girl into the sunset. And, you don't see what it's like to deal with. Not speaking from experience, but having to have killed someone. Like, I mean, I know we're all
PTSD factor.
Yeah, and I know we're all celebrating the the police officer that shoots the bad guy at the end. But I mean, that I would imagine, I've heard that would come at a cost, and so I mean, and that's where, as much as you said, which is what's your point? I'm agreeing. No, I agree with you.
Back on the shelf every year because like, oh, bad time.
And that's where I mean,
and with the exception of a few minutes with the pregnant lady, we very rarely deal with the fact that there are 30 hostages involved at all. That we do find out they need to use the bathroom. Well, other than that, the hostages,
or when they're all on the roof,
right. I mean, but that's it. Like they barely show the hostages because it's all about John and Hans.
I mean, I guess they've still made those movies now, but like it's like, does that get moved? Like I always wonder if they were to make this movie today, would it have gotten made? Would it have been the same script?
Yes,
they've
with
changed
The Rock.
things.
Yes,
I
with The
think.
Rock. But they just
would
said
have been as violent.
Yeah, they said the skyscraper movie.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
Well, because that's why.
I think more so.
Because the kids, they saw the preview for that skyscraper movie with The Rock, and they're like, "Oh, we want to see that." And so I was like, "Well, I'll take a look. I think it's PG-13. I'll take a look and see what I can find online." And online, I found there's a little bit more language than what I want them to see right now. And they said it's actually a little violent too. Like The Rock doesn't perpetrate a lot of the violence, but the bad guys do. So I was like, well, we're not quite ready for that yet.
And I think they cram in a heck of a lot more violence.
Reference to the protagonist.
I think there's more violence in R-rated movies and more violence in PG-13 movies now than it was back then. I think
more violence, less language, and sex. It's a weird thing.
Now we get like almost Puritan.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you said a foul word. But
there was
the
a
amount
booby.
About the amount of gunfire and the amount of people getting shot.
Charles Dickens would want to see them.
Right.
Okay, so here's.
I can barely see her nipples.
And those guys are looking. So here's the quote that Bo found it. The scriptwriter D'Souza. He said he wrote the script as if Hans Gruber were the protagonist. Quote, if he had not planned the robbery and put it together, Bruce Willis would have just gone to the party and reconciled or not with his wife. You should sometimes think about looking at your movie through the point of view of the villain who's really driving the narrative. I don't know if that makes him the protagonist.
Yeah, I don't think that makes him the protagonist.
I don't
think it makes him the good guy.
No.
I certainly wasn't rooting for him in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, so then there's a little bit of an English teacher debate. Does the protagonist have to be a good guy?
No, it doesn't have to be, but for the sake of this recording and the fact that I've got to leave soon, I'm just going to say, we're going to leave it at that.
So I disagree.
I do want to throw out Hans Gruber's line that I adore and I say a lot is, and when Alexander looked out on the breadth of his domain, he wept for there were no more worlds to conquer. Benefits of a classical education. Love it. Love it.
So would you tell the parents at curriculum night?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure do. But just, I mean, the way he delivers anything he says, and we see that he's got the ability to do some comedic timing and comedic delivery, and it's so dry and it's so English, but it works so well. Anyway, I just want to throw that line out there because I do love it so.
He asks each traveler 5 questions.
It's impossible to answer.
Impossible because you don't know the answer.
Nobody could answer that question.
You've got to ask yourself one question.
What are you asking me for? I don't know.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Okay, so very, very quickly, this is, I'm actually going to change up I sent out our 5 questions for Die Hard. I am going to change one of the 5 questions real quick. Actually, I'm going to change 2 of them. I'm going to change 2 of them. I'm going to change 2. So my first question of the 5 questions is, and in try to keep this within a minute, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? The debate that's been going around the internet since, the age-old debate of the last, 5 years, has been whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. People get angry with each other over it. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes.
Why?
Why not?
Okay. Well, this is a 30-something movie podcast. Thanks, everybody, for
why is it a Christmas movie?
It's not.
Because it takes place at Christmas.
That doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
See, I think it does.
No, it doesn't.
I wish they'd carried the Christmas theme through to the future sequels. The fact that the first one and the second one happened at Christmas, tie them together in a different way that makes it funny. I think it's definitely a Christmas movie
I
because
think you're wrong.
Is Gremlins a Christmas movie?
Yes.
No.
Why not?
But more so than Die Hard is. I will say that
okay.
Because it involves
the story of Santa.
giving the gift, giving a gift to someone else.
Yeah.
For the Christmas
They
holiday.
were at a Christmas party.
So. Just because a movie takes place at Christmas time does not make it a Christmas movie.
So, Jeff, is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I'm going to no, it is not.
Okay.
It's a fantastic movie, one of the best of 1988.
Okay.
Still holds up in 2018.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a Christmas movie.
Okay. And your wife shared the same sentiment, didn't she?
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Right away, she was like, nope.
I asked my wife. John and I were tweeting back and forth about it. He was like, what does Katie think? And I asked her, she goes, nope. Okay. We're just going to watch this then.
That was answered at Pat speed.
Yeah.
There should be a scene where you and your wife and he they watch it together. You 3 on the couch. You answer the question. He's like, "Why not?
Why not?"
Like the reindeer died.
When do we start doing a video podcast?
And he's just going, "No, it's Christmas movie." They're getting more and more pissed off. Yeah, well, it's still Christmas. They're at a Christmas party.
There was a tree.
There is. There's a tree.
All right, Pat, is it a Christmas movie?
You're a rug, dude. I say yes. Yeah, it takes place during Christmas. It's a heartwarming story, which I think is the reason that Christmas movies happen.
He reconnects with his wife,
When
man.
Hans Gruber is tossed from the 32nd floor, man, that warms my heart.
Hey, man, it wasn't one of the hostages. Oh, my
I
gosh.
look at it and say, Merry Christmas indeed.
God bless us, everyone.
It's a heartwarming story. FBI guys had their hearts warmed when they exploded.
That's true. So, yes, it is Christmas.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Dennis, is it a Christmas movie?
You gotta.
Why not?
I'm kind of in between on this. Kind of in between on this. I think I might side a little bit more with Jeff in this case. It takes place during Christmas time.
Never
It's
thought
a
I'd say
Christmas
this, but you're a smart man.
time genre. But like I said, there's no real.
There's nothing Christmas about it,
Christmas
other
spirit.
than the setting.
Yeah.
Right, it has nothing to
Just
do with
setting.
the idea of Christmas.
So are there other movies?
Where when you go back to Gremlins again, I go that falls more of a Christmas because there is the gift, there is that there's something given, and then there's also the story of Santa. Like at that, I mean, there's a little bit more Christmas in there versus
a little more
you
time
really
to
don't.
that.
So
Who sends the man down an elevator shaft with a sweater that says "Ho ho ho"? How much?
We're gonna have the happiest Christmas thing, So
next year.
Yeah, that's right.
Next year.
Next year.
Well, there was a teddy bear gift in there.
Right?
So,
Like, you know,
so you're just saying, for it to be a Christmas movie, there needs to be
I
gifts.
guess I'm trying to come up with the
Well, when you
analog.
define Christmas,
What is
you know,
another
does it
movie
take
that
place
takes
during
place at
Christmas
Christmas
time? Yeah,
that
it
isn't a
does.
Christmas movie?
Gremlins.
But I thought we just said that it was
Wrong,
more
man.
of a Christmas movie. Hold on, there can't be a reason for both. Hold on. What do you think?
Christmas
What do you
Story,
answer
Jeff.
yet?
It's Christmas
now-
Story, Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas story, Christmas. I'm gonna have to think about this.
He's like, no.
No.
No,
It's Home Alone, a Christmas movie.
that's a good question.
See,
good one.
That's a
Well
tough,
done.
That's
see,
a
I
tough
think that's
argument.
an equal
Well done,
point.
yes.
It is because it takes place.
Because Home
but it
Alone
takes
is
place in the
because
Christmas
Home Alone is
spirit.
Die Hard for kids.
Although there
All you
is
need
the
is snow.
although
Holy Jesus.
although the part with the neighbor, the old man.
You never thought of that?
It's a little
yeah.
bit more into
Never
the
thought of it that way?
Christmas thing of I don't know.
I
Yeah.
haven't.
The neighbor.
I will now, though.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Home Alone is Die Hard for kids.
The Home Alone neighbor story though brings it a little more Christmassy. Where's that story in?
All right, my wife agrees with you.
Now I have a vision.
Like almost word for word, by the way.
Sometimes she's a smart woman.
Yeah, she married me. She can't be that
Sometimes
bright.
she's not. I
Come
don't
on
understand
now.
why people think so just because it takes place during Christmas time. Christmas movies are like White Christmas, Miracle on 34th Street. Movies about the Christmas spirit,
See,
not
that's
just
the
about the
Christmas
time
spirit.
of year.
Exactly.
And then she wants to know when you're going to be home.
Yeah, well.
So I got one of those texts too.
Yeah, did you? Yeah.
So,
Did Donna call Sharon? Because that's like exactly what she said too.
See, yeah.
But she also followed that up with, she's like, you know what? She's like, and it was almost word for word the same thing. She's like, it's not a Christmas movie. It takes place at Christmas. She said, but this is also not a female movie. This is a guy's movie. And if guys need this to be their Christmas movie, go ahead and have it.
okay.
And I was
So,
like, do you know
All
that?
right. Let's move on to the next question.
so
Some of us have wives waiting for us to get home, apparently.
I probably don't anymore.
All right, question 2. Rank the Die Hard movies. And if you haven't seen some of them, then you don't have to rank those. I will go ahead. I'll go ahead and give my ranking, and my ranking might be a little controversial.
Bet it is.
Number 1, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Number 2, Die Hard. Number 3, Die Hard 2. And number 4, Live Free or Die Hard.
Interesting.
I have not seen the newest one.
I haven't seen.
I'm going to go with Die Hard.
Okay.
Die Hard with a Vengeance. Live Free or Die Hard.
Really?
Die Hard 2, Die Harder. And A Good Day to Die Hard.
Okay.
Wow.
That movie was awful.
I still have not seen that.
Yeah,
But you told me it was awful, so I'm not.
The,
there's
the
another
two
one.
newest ones sit at the bottom for me too.
Okay.
I'm surprised you put Die Hard 2 that low. That's what intrigues me.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little too jumping the shark for
Okay.
me.
I can see that.
You know, there's so much.
I love
that-
it, but there's
so much that plays off of the gags and the ideas from the first one.
Look at the same shit happen to the same guy twice.
Yeah,
Come
like-
on, it's funny.
It's funny, right? It's funny, but at the same time, it doesn't offer.
Is it more of a Christmas
Much.
movie than the first one?
Thank you, because that was my next question.
Wait a minute. So the only way it's a Christmas movie is if it's on the approved list, right? So there's an
Yes.
approved watch list of Christmas movies.
Maybe.
For schools?
But who makes those?
Right.
Who watches the watch list?
Okay.
Is Frosty the Snowman a Christmas movie?
Yes.
Bo should do the approved list for the school.
Happy birthday!
All right. Did you rank the Die Hard movies?
No, we're gonna let Pat go.
No,
next.
Pat, you go ahead. Well, Pat's just going to go number 1, Die Hard. Number 2, Die Hard. Number 3, Die Hard. Number 4, Die Hard. Number
Die Hard, Die Hard.
The third one, Die Hard with a Vengeance, was
Oh.
supposed to be a Lethal Weapon movie.
I can see that, but this was
And
better.
and they rewrote it as the revenge against John McClane's story, and I
Yeah.
dig that.
Oh, Die Hard with a Vengeance is an amazing film. Didn't they bring McTiernan back for that? I feel like
yes.
they did. Yeah, and it shows,
Just walk
by the
just
way.
cut
Like,
the lock and drop
Oh,
it
yeah.
off.
yeah, and let's,
Right.
come on, Samuel L. Jackson. I mean,
Okay,
Jesus.
Pat,
Why
how would
do
you
you call
rank
me
it?
Jesus?
Zeus!
Zeus!
Like
As
Mount Olympus, lightning bolt up.
Lightning bolt up your ass. Zeus. Just Zeus.
Loved it.
I mean, my gut reaction is Die Hard and all the rest of the movies in those two levels. But yeah, I mean, now that we're talking about it, I think the Die Hard, Head and Shoulders above the rest. And then I think with a Vengeance, I've probably seen more than Die Harder. And then there's the one where he deals with the hacker.
Yeah,
Is that
Live Free
four?
or Die
Hard.
Hard.
That's 4.
That's 4. And then is there Die Hard 5? That's where he's
Yeah,
with
there's
his
a
son.
Good Day to Die
Good Day
Hard.
to Die Hard.
Never saw it.
Okay, I don't
We're
know.
just outside of Chernobyl.
Is that where there's a plane?
Chernobyl.
There's a helicopter. There might be a plane, but there's also a helicopter.
Maybe I've seen it then.
It's decent. I mean, the two newest ones are not.
When you say is there a plane or a helicopter, that doesn't narrow it down for any of the movies.
I would say there are two groupings of movies, although Jeff's list blows my groupings out of the water. But
There's the Live Free or Die Hard.
There's the computer hackers.
Is the computer hackers.
Is that what Kevin Smith is like?
Yes.
And he refers. You know, the best line is where he says, "Oh, you didn't just quote the Fett." Like he refers to Boba Fett.
Well, he's got the Boba Fett.
as
Like, he's got the Boba Fett. He's like, "Do you like the Fett?" And Bruce Willis goes, "No, I like Star Wars."
That's right.
And he goes,
Like,
"Oh my god!"
yeah, that was kind of a
Kevin
funny
Smith
little.
talked him through some of the insults. Like, you just call me dump truck. Just call me lunchbox. and Bruce was like, why would I do that? No, just
just
really
do it.
funny.
Just trust me. Just do it. All right. How would you rank them?
I've only seen the 3, so I'm going to go Die Hard 1, Vengeance 2, and then number 2, 3.
Okay.
I have to go with that too. I really love Die Hard 2 because it fits my sensibilities.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
But tired with a vengeance. You know what it comes down to? It comes down to the bad guys.
Jeremy Irons.
Yeah. Jeremy Irons is
Holy
fantastic in that movie. One of my favorite scenes in that whole movie. Nils. Nils. Nils is dead.
Yeah.
Nils is dead, dickhead.
Who was the bad guy in Die Hard? Or it was
the Colonel. There was more.
There was the guy from
multiple.
the Deep Space Nine guy that was the head of section.
The dad
7
from
or whatever, right?
Good Times. John Amos.
Yeah, it was John Amos, Colonel Stewart, and then the.
That's right. There were too many.
And then the Colonel.
Was this the one where the guy was?
That's the one with the plane.
Yeah, and that's the one where the guy was. Wasn't he like moving around with it, like naked with a sword?
He was doing his Tai Chi
with a sword
in the
and
morning.
he's
Yeah,
naked. It was weird.
Is that for a Christmas movie? There's a Christmas tree reference in it.
Some people say it's weird. Some people say it's Tuesday morning. All right. Let's
We just got a peek into John's Tuesday morning.
Well, you can if you want to. It's on my
Podcast is
YouTube.
office on a Tuesday morning. I had a peek once too. It was awful.
It's on my YouTube channel.
The world sees that. That's not right.
Not allowed to have that YouTube channel anymore. What is your favorite movie featuring Alan Rickman?
Oh, you jerk! Damn it!
Prince of Thieves.
Yep, Prince of Thieves. That's what I'm going with.
It's dull, you twit. It'll hurt more. He's so good.
Yeah,
he is good. But I enjoy
this movie is
I enjoy his comedic stuff. Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Galaxy Quest. I was going to say.
Are you saying favorite movie with him
Speaking
or
of
favorite
Christmas movies,
character?
I was going to say.
Love Actually.
Favorite movie
That
with
one.
him in it.
It's such a different thing for him. It was so good. Like he was so good in it. Just
I'm not a huge fan of that movie.
his small little part was so good.
Love Actually.
Oh, Dogma.
Way too much going on in that
Yeah.
movie.
Not Melchior. What's the voice of
Dogma's yours? Are you going with Dogma?
I don't. I love him as Snape.
Mhm.
He's so damn good as Snape.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate you. You know what? I reject the premise of the question.
Yeah,
Even though we've talked through it all, I'm still sticking with
Your
Prince of
response is,
Thieves.
I hate you.
It's
Yes.
dull,
Okay.
you twit.
He
It'll
is
hurt
just
more.
so.
Favorite Alan Rickman role? You're a moron. Shut up.
You Canadian.
He is so.
Just been Rickman rolled.
Bottle shock.
I said bottle.
Oh no,
I just
Jeffrey!
said bottle
Oh,
shock.
I agree with Jeffrey. I reject the question. I reject the
I just
question
said
as
it,
well.
yeah.
Bottle shock is up there. Oh my gosh.
Sorry,
I whispered it because I didn't want to start anything.
I didn't hear
You
you, but
rejected the
yeah.
question and then you answered it anyway? Is it?
No, I don't. There's no. He's amazing at everything he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like the Midas touch. Everything the man, every role the man has. Oh, Bottle Shock is so good.
Are you still thinking?
No, I just wanted to make sure there's nothing I forget, and that's when I thumbed through and I saw Bottle
Judge
Shock.
Turpin
And that's
and
why I was
Sweeney
like, oh, I
Todd
don't want to go
The guy
there.
reads the results, and he's just like, he's the one that pulls him up. You come with me right now, and then they're like, oh, they're all freaked out because the California lines. Oh my gosh, what year do we get to that movie?
My first
2008.
instinct was
Cool, 20 years.
But then Snape pops in,
Well, it came out in 2008.
And then
so,
Bottle Shock.
2000.
All right. 2 more of our 5 questions left. What's the best way to relieve stress? Keep it family friendly.
Wait, what's the best?
What's the
part?
best way to relieve stress? Keep it family friendly.
You guys have seen Wolf
So
of Wall
let's just
Street,
not
right?
have Jeff answer.
You guys have seen Wolf of Wall Street?
No. Oh,
you haven't? Tonight you've got to watch that movie. What number did you put out?
That's what I hear.
I do a lot of drinking.
It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas movie.
Oh, it's Christmas Wolf of Wall Street. It's Christmas movie.
No, in all seriousness, this is something that I do when I just like want to forget everything. I'll put on orchestral music and pretend I'm the conductor, and I'll just figure out the time changes and just cue different parts and. I don't know.
I'm thinking of Jerry Lewis right now.
that's kind of how it goes. But I just I lose myself in the music and just I focus on just what I'm hearing, and I try to pick up on different idiosyncrasies of different parts of music. Just I don't know.
Cool.
You can work out too. Really into it.
There you go.
Stevie Wonder driving the car. That's cool, man.
Pat, how do you relieve stress?
Relieve stress or after a trip?
Family podcast.
Right. No.
Keep it clean.
Yeah. No. Honestly,
It worked.
I'll just would.
We're skipping next. Go ahead.
Okay. You know what? I'll go off. I'll go off. I can't speak. I'm affected by
like that. Huh?
Yep.
I'll go out for a run.
Stressed right now.
But I'm thinking for like trips. Like I just like whenever I get somewhere, I like to scout out the neighborhood and. This
is why we don't. This is why we don't invite. Why we don't invite Dennis.
Dennis. It's all right. It's right there. There you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick. I'm impressed.
Well,
got things to do.
I have a lot of editing to do in this episode.
A lot of work.
So you go for a run.
I go for a run. Scout out the neighborhood.
Motivation.
I think we're derailed. I don't think we can bring this one back.
I think we're totally, yeah. Do you have something that you actually do to relieve stress? Or
Yes.
Just...
Yeah, I wasn't. I don't know where you guys are going with all that.
Facebook.
It all depends on. It all depends on what type. I will clarify that.
Okay.
There is. If it's like an aggravated stress where you're just kind of getting angry about things and you're just like fed up, for me it's hitting a heavy bag or going for a run. One of those two, either one run through the woods or the heavy bag.
Heavy bag is one of the other ends.
If it is more of a subdued, not in a stress that's really, but it's something that's on your mind, meditation. So I either go like if it's a more low key sort of stress where it's just something you keep thinking about, stuff and you want to kind of block all that out, then it's more of a meditation thing. The run can fall into both of those. Run works for both. But if I'm just angry about something, heavy bag.
Going for a run causes stress.
I was going to say, I will trust you. John and I are not going to say run. I'm just going to come right out with it.
If I'm running, it's because I am stressed because
somebody's
chasing me. Some creature chasing me and I'm going to die. Which is still not true, because if there was a creature chasing me and I was going to die, I'd just be like, nope. Go ahead. Go ahead. Why am I going to spend my last few moments miserable running?
Give yourself a heart attack.
For what? Kill me now. Mine is I go see a movie in a theater. I just go see a movie, even by myself. Even I don't need to go with anybody else. And some people think that's sad. I don't care. I like to go see a movie by myself in the theater. Go for it.
Music. I will put on something. Lately, it's been throwback stuff to like Dave Matthews Band from the old days. Just a long.
It's appropriate for this
a
movie.
long jam track. Something that doesn't really stop.
Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson mix really works. It's so mellow, man. How can you be stressed with Jack Johnson music playing?
Yeah, but see, the problem is that goes too far the other way. You're like, oh God, what the hell am I listening to?
You just start,
something that can sort of that has enough going on to occupy your brain and just sort of shut everything else out.
Yeah. Last question. You get a free vacation. Do you go to New York City or California?
New York City.
Okay.
On a heartbeat.
New York City.
Okay.
Okay.
California, no doubt. Heartbeat.
Well, that I kind of figured.
Like right now.
Okay. I'm actually leaving in a few minutes.
I am in California.
Check airfare.
He's really meditating on a rock in California. This is
right.
your image.
It's like the Luke Skywalker.
It's like the Last Jedi.
Like,
I'm not really here.
He's relieving stress in California.
Doesn't need that much space.
No. California or New York City?
Anywhere in 5 minutes.
Or somewhere else. But I mean, specific to this movie. You don't care.
I've never been to New York, and I really want to get there.
Okay.
Been to California, really want to get there.
Okay.
So.
I've never been either.
Okay.
So what are you saying?
Yeah.
All right, for the love of God, this thing needs to end.
Dad has rejected the premise of the question for a third time.
I'm just rejecting all the questions.
Well, I say New York, and I say I think we're good.
So
Do you remember when we tried to do 4
Why New York?
Oh my God.
We did that like once or twice. You remember? It'd be like 10:30 at night, and by the end we'd be like, and then that would be the podcast. Do you remember that?
Were you just doing?
Yeah.
Were you doing Bill Murray at the shelter right there?
It was like trying to be the 4 movies.
Sorry, we don't know you well enough to call you Nick.
Awesome.
Or Dennis just gets up and leaves because we showed him a picture of Howard the Duck.
Yeah, he stomped off. Like,
Yeah, he was mad. He was
I wanted to take a heavy bag. I meditate. I went for a run.
He was an angry elf. All right, well, that's going to do it for Die Hard. And this is our last 80s movie of 88. So if we do make it to a showing of Aquaman, we'll do that next time. Otherwise, have a very Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. And then we will be back, if we're not back for Aquaman,
movie off the approved list.
we will be back in the beginning of January for Pat. What are we back for in the beginning of January?
Batman!
Oh,
that was scary as hell.
I know.
How could you just do that?
You want to get nuts?
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Nice place.
Lots of space.
Peace, love, and joy to everyone out there.
They both say that.
All right.
Happy holidays.
30podcast.com, at 30podcast on Twitter. You can call our voicemail line, check out the website. And like I said, next time we might be back for Aquaman. If not, we will be back in 2019 with our first 1989 episodes. In the meantime, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, John.
Be excellent to each other. Go watch some good movies, and we'll see you back here next time.
By the time they figure out what went wrong, we'll be sitting on a beach earning 20%.